Well, it's that time to thank our sponsors, and I'd like to thank them personally because I can't be doing what I'm doing without them. The Fat Boy app, the only locally owned mom and pop restaurant locator. Listen, you're not going to find another one like it. They're out there every day busting their humps, signing up restaurants so you can get the benefits from their app. So go sign up. Go check them out. At least go check them out. Send them a message and say, what are you all about? Go watch the podcast where we interviewed them. If you're not a Fat Boy or Dining Diva, you're missing out and it's your own fault. That's all I can tell you because I've given you everything you need to know. So go sign up, become a Fat Boy and Dine a Diva. Restaurant owners, if you are a locally owned restaurant, sign up for free, right? Get free advertisement. Man, there's so many benefits for you guys as well. Stephen Watson, man, Stephen Watson at Watson's Transmissions. One of the best there is out there doing what he does. And this show is so grateful to have him as a sponsor. So if you need transmission work, reach out to Stephen Watson at Watson's Transmissions. Shane Hackney at Hackney Door Company, buddy. We appreciate you and we thank you for everything that you're doing, everything that you've been doing, supporting Front Porch America. Again, we're honored to have you on. And if you guys need doors that open, doors that close, doors that don't squeak, or if you got a squeaky door, call Shane. He's going to help you out at Hackney Door Company there in Marion, Kentucky. Um, Billy Perkins at Warwick County Tire, man, thank you for stepping up and helping out the podcast. Listen, they just won an award for being like the best tire place there in Booneville, Booneville, Indiana. I almost said Booneville, Kentucky. That's Boone Vegas up there in Booneville, Indiana. Warwick County Tire. Go see Billy. He's going to take care of you. Jen's General Store. We love her to death. We love that store, man. They've been great for the podcast and they're great for our community. If you haven't been to Jen's, go to Jen's General Store. You're missing out. I'm telling you. I went not too long ago, got me a big old bologna sandwich in an L8, and I need to go. I would like to go every day if I could, but go get you some of that old timey candy and some of them L8s and just browse their store. There's something for everybody there at Jen's General Store there in Morganfield, Kentucky. Ironstein Coffee. Jerry and his buddy there, Ironstein Coffee, man, they're roasting them beans. Got the whole town smelling like a fresh cup of coffee. Check them out. They got many different blends. They'll cater to your needs. Reach out to them. Um, yeah, just such an awesome crew to have. Josh Parrish at BHG Realty, man, we can't forget about him for sure. Thank you so much for everything you've done for the podcast. You're out there grinding and moving these properties and getting people their first home, their second home, their 50th home, whatever it is, moving businesses in, getting businesses brought to the area, which is really cool. So, Josh, we thank you at BHG Realty for everything you do for the podcast. Jake Wolf at Wolf Customs, man. We got to thank him. We can't leave him out. So we really appreciate him. If you need an oil change, some mechanic work done, go see Jake there in Waverly, Kentucky. And as always, we like to give a special shout out to Shannon French for Lids for Kids and doing what he's doing. Man, they're on their way to 100 kids. Go check out Lids for Kids on Facebook or on the web. They're doing some great and amazing things, and we can't do what we do without you either, Shannon. So thank you. And in the words of the man himself, Shannon French, y'all be kind to one another, and let's get ready for the podcast. So welcome to Front Porch America, and tonight is going to be the first of hopefully several of these types of interviews for the podcast. And what I mean by that is elections coming up, right? So what is it, in May, I believe?
Yep, in May.
And we've got a lot of locals running for positions. We got a lot of new people running for positions that's never ran before, never held an office. So I wanted to give them and you the opportunity to come in, sit down, and just talk about why you want to run for the position you want to run for. So before we get started, I always like to give people a gift. So that's the bag's from Shannon French, Lids for Kids. He does a nonprofit organization for kids that are sick and special needs and things like that. So it's a pretty cool little program. There's some things in there from the Fat Boy app. So with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get started. And I'm sitting here with Nathan Stinchcomb. So Nathan, why don't you just tell me, we'll start from the very beginning. We'll just give a backstory to everybody. Where are you from? Where you were raised? Just kind of go through that.
All right. So I was born in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
Actually, originally. and my mom met my stepdad, who just so happened to be from Kentucky.
Okay.
They got married, and we moved up here. I think it was '97. Um, and their wedding gift was a farmhouse on 200 acres.
Oh, you can't beat that.
No, no, in Webster County. And ever since then, that's where I was raised, and I called home. And it's in Dixon, so been
So you
living there.
graduated from Webster County High School?
Yep. Graduated in 2007.
Okay.
Played football.
Okay.
Let's see. I had my ex-wife. We met in high school. I had a son, young, and it kind of put some things on the back burner. Had some scholarship opportunities for football. Loved football, and I just put those on the back burner. Settled, was going to go to Kentucky Wesleyan to play football.
Okay.
Last minute, I made the decision to just go to the community college there, where I got an associate's in criminal justice.
Okay.
Fast forward, I had intentions to go to the State Police Academy, but just life
Right. Yeah.
kept
Getting in the way.
getting in the way.
Yeah.
So put it on the back.
I always was going to go out to California and become an actor, but I just never made it there. I think I left Kentucky one time, and I always found myself coming back here. So,
When I was younger, I would fly back and forth in the summers on breaks, visit my dad and stepmom. I got two brothers down there.
okay. Are they
And
older or younger than
They're
you?
younger.
Okay.
Younger, and I got a younger sister up here.
Okay.
Actually, my oldest son and my sister are 12 days apart.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was wild.
That's
Other than
interesting.
that. But I enjoyed going down. I enjoy the beach. One of our favorite places to go is Gulf Shores.
Yeah.
Love that place.
Yeah, we were going to Panama City for a while, and then we started going to Gulf Shores, and I've got a couple of buddies down there now, and we just love going down there. And we always go like the end of August when there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Like you don't wait in line for restaurants, and it's just peaceful,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I went down there till I got older, and I just wanted to go down there to visit, and that was it.
Right.
Could never see myself moving back there. I just hate the traffic. I hate you go 10 miles down the road and it takes an hour.
Fast paced tourism kind of.
Yeah. And it was just not for me. And I just stayed. I moved to Owensboro for that 2 years to get that associate's degree, and then came back to Webster County. I just never pictured myself anywhere else. So,
Ain't that crazy how you have these big dreams, life gets in the way, and you still have the opportunity to pack up and move. And I keep looking over here, y'all. So his wife Holly is sitting here. So, but you have the opportunity to pack up and move, and I've done that, and I've always found myself coming back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Originally, I grew up in Crittenden County, but I've lived over here. My grandparents are from over here, and I spent almost every summer over here with them. So it's kind of like the home. It was home too. It's just as much as Crittenden County was, but I could just never get away. Like there at one point, I had my bags packed, and I was going to go Hollywood. I was going to be the next Matthew McConaughey. I knew it. I was just like, I felt it, but probably wouldn't have been. But I probably would have had to hitchhike back home. But I think it's that hometown feel. That just that atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's there's always been this rivalry with Webster County, Union County,
Right.
and it's like they're both nice places, but I still feel Webster County is God's country.
Right. When I say I feel Crittenden is God's country, so I think everybody from Union would say Union is, but
We'll just
all
Western,
three of them. Yeah, we could just do
Western Kentucky.
These tri-counties
there you
are God's country. So you graduate with the Associates in Criminal Justice. What do you do from there?
So I worked at Hendricks Electric for several years. They got bought out by T&D.
Okay.
And then I went to Century Aluminum for a little bit. and then I did pest control with my father-in-law.
Okay.
My wife, her granddad started Brantley's Pest Control.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I know Lance has
Oh,
been
yeah.
on here. So
Yeah.
that's her
Really?
cousin.
So I had
Yeah,
no idea. No
yeah,
idea.
yep.
Yeah.
So Harold has a pest control business too, H&M,
Yeah.
and I worked there for 3 years. Yeah, I think 3 years, and then finally, well, let me backpedal a little bit. Me and my
Yeah.
wife have been married close to 8 years, and we finally was in a place to where I was able to go to the academy. I mean, it's tough. Until recently, you had to go to Eastern Kentucky.
Mhm.
Close to 3.5, 4 hours away, depending on
Yeah.
how
And
your
you and then
speed
what
you
is that?
drive.
20 weeks or something like that?
When I went, it was 20 weeks. Yeah. Um,
And you're there all week. And you were you allowed to come home on the weekends?
yes. So you had to report there Sunday night, and then you'd have class Friday. And when your class got done, you'd be able to drive home.
Okay.
And I mean, my drive sucked, but there were some people like far west,
Right.
like touching Illinois, Missouri,
Wow.
over that way. Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah. I bet it would
And
be.
I think that affected law enforcement trying to find officers, um, because it takes a special wife,
Right.
special support system, a good family to help, especially if you had kids. We've got 4 kids total now, so it was tough. Just that extra,
Uh, How long had you been married when you went into the academy?
mm, 2 years, 2 years. Yeah,
So still
because
pretty
I'm
fresh, pretty
yeah,
new.
yeah, because I'm about 6.5 years, I think. I started in 19.
Yeah.
But it was tough, and a lot of smaller agencies, they struggle, with, you know, you've got to send somebody and you're having to pay for somebody and they're out that whole week. You're out, drive time and this and that and
And then if they don't make it or
vehicle.
they decide to leave, they're out that money.
Yeah. So recently they've started a police academy in Western Kentucky in
Okay.
Madisonville.
Okay.
Um, and hopefully that'll help
Do you
with.
think you've seen an influx in potential candidates since it's closer, or
I think they've.
because it's still pretty new?
Yeah, it's super new. I think they've only had one class.
Okay.
So
So they're just
still
really now getting kicked off and getting started. And
getting kicked off. Yeah, and they got to build a lot.
right.
Because there's just so much that goes into the academy. They've started doing some of it online, kind of get some of the online stuff out of the way before you report to the academy.
Yeah.
But I think some of those spots are going to be reserved for more of the Western Kentucky people.
Okay. Okay. It's kind of just split the state closest, whatever.
Yeah.
Holly, I know you're off camera, but what was something one of the toughest things for you while he was down there? I mean, what was? I mean, obviously being gone all week and
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad. I mean, just because we had the support from our family, so they helped a lot with the kids. So I mean, it was kind of smooth. It was just being away from him for a week.
yeah, that's a
Talking on the phone
Yeah,
instead of,
and
Yeah.
you got it with technology these days with the phones that helped.
yeah. You FaceTiming
Yeah.
and stuff like
FaceTime
that.
the
So
kids.
Yeah. But yeah, he would have a lot of homework and stuff.
I think that helped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a way to be able to get that done, no distractions.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hate driving,
right,
Yeah.
and that's weird coming from a police and judge because that's all we do
right.
is
I
drive.
I hate driving too, and that's all I do is drive.
Like,
So
and I don't know how to explain it. I guess it's broken up. I could stop and go and talk and
right.
go to the gas station or go to the office and do paperwork, but it's just the constant driving.
So you go down there and you finish up the academy. Where do you go to work at?
So started at Webster County, hired me and sent me. I was hired Frankie Springfield.
Okay.
He's a longtime sheriff over there, and I was there for close to 2 years. He retired, and I left shortly after his retirement. And you know, with certified officers, they're called laterals. I mean, you have a lot more opportunities to
Right.
go. But I wanted to stay, you know, our court districts, or Webster, Union, Crittenden. I kind of wanted to just kind of stay with the familiar faces. I knew some of the deputies at the time here in Union County, and they had been trying to get me for a little bit, and just really hit it off with a couple of them. And I came and talked to Mickey and Lee,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I felt I needed to come over here, and they just, I don't have enough good things to say about them. They welcomed me with open arms.
Yeah.
She was pregnant, so they hired me in May, and we had our little girl in July. Didn't have nothing, built up, and the guys came together, gave me some of their
It's pretty cool.
sick time, and allowed me to be off, and they were great. I mean, I have no complaints. Um, it was great place to work. I loved all the guys, but there was just still this.
You want to
It
be
wasn't
home.
home. It wasn't home.
Yeah.
I wanted to be home. I wanted to police and make a difference where raising my family. And like I said, nothing against Union County. It just wasn't fulfilling me.
And I feel like knowing those guys, and I know them pretty well, that was a supported move. I'm sure they were
Oh,
upset to have you leave.
yeah, yeah,
And that's kind of how you and I started to get to know you a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Was through that. So you go back to Webster County.
Yeah, I go back to Webster County and help the current sheriff over there. And we started with our spouses and him and me. And it was rough starting
Yeah.
out, just two cops for the whole
And
sheriff's office.
Webster County is a big county.
Yeah, a lot of people might not think it, but when you go from Black Ford to Aunton, lights and sirens, it's
Yeah, that's a
a good
little
haul.
haul.
Yeah. And so it was a little bit of a struggle at first. I knew how it was, but didn't have any equipment. So that was a struggle.
You think being there previously kind of helped, make that transition because you knew what you were getting into?
Yeah, I think so. I think it helps. Kind of just fell right back into place. And it was a little bit struggle. We got called out a lot.
Yeah.
But once got some more deputies,
And it didn't seem
got
like
easier.
it took Sheriff Braden long to get some people recruited and in there.
No. There were some people that knew that wanted to come. And there were several spots. It
Right.
was just
Yeah.
us two. So yeah, he started hiring pretty quick, and that helped. And I was there. While I was there, got a canine, a German Shepherd. He's a dual-purpose canine.
Okay.
He was bought with.
So for people who doesn't understand the dual purpose, kind of explain that.
So dual purpose is narcotics. He's trained in narcotics. He's trained in tracking, and he's trained to apprehend. And when we were looking for a dog, it's had no idea
Right.
just what went into it, and didn't really have any experience around us, but we knew we didn't want an overly aggressive one, and the county already had a single purpose narcotics. So I pushed for a dual purpose, and we got them from Von Lick Kennels up in northern Indiana.
Okay, I fix that. I've heard of that. That's a
And
pretty good size kennel up there.
Yeah, he's got a lot of dogs. That's where the other dog.
Now you went up there to train too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought they put on their own trainings and
Yeah.
kind of done that.
So I think it's for single purpose, just narcotics and tracking. It was 4 weeks.
Okay.
The apprehension was 6 weeks.
Oh wow. Okay.
So went up there, and we decided on a German Shepherd. and he's just he's amazing.
What's his name?
His name's Bane.
Okay.
His actual name up there was Aries 19. It's like they just went through so many dogs. He was the
Right.
19th.
Just kind of, yeah.
Yeah, they run out of names, so I was like, definitely got to change that.
Change
So,
it.
and went with Bane. We do muzzle work up there. I put a muzzle on him, and he looked just like Bane
Bane
off of
from
Batman.
yeah. That's pretty cool.
So he's a darker sable
Okay.
German Shepherd, and he's amazing.
So how does that work? So I had a bloodhound tracking dog, and he was scent specific, right?
Mhm.
Yours is dual purpose, almost triple purpose, I guess. Apprehension.
Yeah.
How does that work with tracking and the apprehension part? Do you have special commands that I mean, because I'm not familiar with that end of it. So like you're looking for somebody, and he's out there and he's tracking them. Does he want to lock onto him? Grab a butt cheek or an ankle or?
You get him in that mode. You hype him up.
Okay.
Um, and I could track to a tennis ball.
Okay.
And he'd find a tennis ball at the end. He doesn't always, and we kind of break it up. Don't always track to man. But when somebody, it's kind of different. When somebody's running, they release those endorphins,
Right.
and it's just them dogs, the instinct. Once you track and then they get close, they'll start air sniffing, and they don't really need to track, and they
Yeah.
they'll
Get on
in
that
a
hot scent.
cone. They'll get in a scent cone, and his head will be up. You'll see him. We had to do some man searches in like grass that was this tall, and he didn't have to track then. It
Right.
was
He just threw a head up.
find the scent cone.
How cool! That's so cool, isn't it? Like I love, Cash, my bloodhound. He would put his head down. And he'd start popping. That nose would start popping, and you could hear it, and that tail would go up.
Yeah.
If that tail was up, he was on something hot, and if it would go limp,
Yeah.
you knew it wasn't a hot trail. So how long have you had him?
So I've had him probably did 2 years, a little over 2 years.
Okay.
And he was a little bit older, so he's 6 years old,
Okay.
and so he was the more older dog. I don't think it was much fault to him,
Right.
but he just wasn't the overly aggressive one. Some of these agencies want man eaters
And
out of the gate.
that kind of worked out for you because you didn't want a super overly aggressive.
He does phenomenal around kids.
Yeah.
And people. But when it's time to turn it on, he turns it on. I've gotten into a really good training group with Henderson PD.
Oh, yeah.
Henderson SO.
Yeah.
We actually just got recertified in September.
Nice.
It was a little intimidating. It was Evansville PD was there, so we certified with them guys.
Okay.
Now I was nervous as all get out because it was just a whole nother
different realm of it. Yeah.
But we trained hard, preparing for it. And I was with American Working Dog.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I certified with them for two years, and then went to the USPCA, and I've really enjoyed it. We do a bunch of different stuff, but there's a lot more judges that watch you.
Yeah.
And you can actually go to. One of the guys just went down to Florida and competed.
Oh wow!
So it's more of a.
So there's competitions and stuff you
it's
can
more of a
take them to if
competition
you want to.
when you go past your local certification.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It's all based on points, and
it sounds like he's a pretty good asset for the department and the county.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and say I'd left. I was with the Webster County for about a year, a little over a year, and ended up taking a chief job at Seabury. So one-man department. So I've used him more for apprehension type stuff, but no bite apprehension. Everybody's gave up.
Yeah, I would give up too. So.
Yeah,
I don't think I would want.
He's done phenomenal. Had some really good tracks. But as soon as we get up to him, he starts getting amped up and starts barking, everybody gives up.
Yeah, yeah, I don't blame them. That's if they ain't never been somebody ain't never been bit by a dog, it's a totally different kind of bite.
Yeah.
My sister one time got a rescue dog, and they were like, "Oh, it's great with people," and I literally bent down to give it a treat, and it lashed onto my face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and man, and it
And
was rough.
even as good as he is, like, I still any
Yeah,
dog,
you never know.
any dog.
It's just
Yeah.
Cash was as he got older. He was never aggressive, but he was more standoffish and more like this is my home, and he would
Yeah.
kind of growl at people. He would never once you come to the door and come in, he would never do anything, but
Yeah.
he would just kind of be like, "Hey, who is this?" Whatever. Um, so Chief of Seabury, is that you're
That's
still what
currently,
you're doing?
yeah. I'm the chief of Seabury, and a little over a year and a half been over there now.
Okay.
One man wrecking crew.
One man wrecking crew. How does that? I mean, Seabury's a pretty heavily populated little city.
Yeah. It's unique too because it's like its own little island. Really,
It's diverse, very diverse.
It's definitely diverse. I think we probably have over 2,000 people in the city of Sebring. Um, you know, it's diverse with several Hispanics. We've got some Somalians. It's been brought in from Tyson, but and then you've got a bunch of old school people that have lived there for years.
Right.
So it's you've got different ages. So like I said, it's unique because it's Clay is fairly close to Providence,
Right.
and then Dixon, and you've got all them, and there's a police department in Providence and Clay. But really, it's a good haul to get to Seabury, and you've got the Parkway that runs right
Oh
through,
yeah.
through Seabury. But it's
Can
been
be exciting at times,
yeah,
I'm sure.
oh yeah, it can be exciting. But it's difficult, some being only person.
Right.
But it's been really really enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. There's really good people there, really good people in Seabury.
So I think I've seen a few things on social media. Are you getting into like owning some farm animals, doing a little?
Yes.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
So I've known this farm since I've lived in Dixon. It connects to the farm I grew up on. I've always known it as a cattle farm. And I'm like, man, I've always had it in the back of my mind, man, it's just beautiful. It's rolling hills.
Yeah.
It's 94 acres, all fenced in. Like, man, that would be nice to have one day, maybe. And the conversation came up, and it was actually my mom called the guy, had his number, cows got out, and was like, hey, if you ever sell it, let us know. I think my son, he can make it work. He might be interested. Just so happens, cows got out again. She called and talked to him. He's like, yeah, I think I'd probably sell. And at the time, it was, I don't know, it was in the spring of, let's see, last year. And at the time, we were renting a place, and we had all intentions to keep renting there until we couldn't no more. And
Right.
It was under the stipulation if any of my family wanted to move back in the house, we'd have to move out. And they're like, okay. Well, it was happening a little sooner than we had hoped, but I told that guy, I was like, timing's bad right now. I'm not going to rush into anything. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Right.
It'll be there. Well, that fall, got the call. Hey, my daughter wants to move in the house. I'm like, oh my gosh, house full of just all our junk that we've acquired over the years.
Yeah.
Because we sold our house in Providence and moved here. And we're like, man, we don't have a house payment.
Yeah.
Like, this would be the time if we want to try to make this work. And I called him back in February, or not February, in the fall and of last year. And I was like, hey, it's been 6 months. I'm like, do you still have it? Yeah. He's like, still interested in selling? He's like, yeah, I'll sell it. So
Just
that was
said,
it. Yeah. We we decided to buy it, and we haven't looked back
did it come with
since.
it? Did it come loaded with cows already?
Yeah,
Or-
we currently have 50 head, 53 head.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
First
you got a horse yet?
generation.
Have you caught him out there
Yeah.
in the field on a horse or anything, looking
Man,
like
I want to.
oh boy from
Hey, I used to have horses
Yellowstone?
when I was younger. I want
Get you
I want a
one.
horse that works cattle so bad I can't stand it.
Yeah, it was always fun.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah, it would help tremendously, and a dog too.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you
they,
hurting dog. They're a lot of
Yeah.
work too. Horses are a lot of work too.
oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But we haven't looked back, and
So what are you doing with the cow? Are you raising them to slaughter?
We're-
Kind of.
for now we're just doing a cow calf.
Okay.
We're doing. We're about to have our first calf crop. We've got 16 of them. We're going to take 15 of them off next month
Okay.
to Ledbetter. There's a special
Yeah.
vax sale because we've weaned them, we've vaccinated them, we've boosted them, we've cut them. You can get some additional money on that from the buyer because that's less stuff they have to worry about.
Right, right.
They're more likely to be healthier. They don't have to worry about the balling, losing that weight. So we've been putting some pounds on them, and hope to sell our first.
That'll be exciting. I'll have to. You
Yeah.
have to keep me updated. I see how that goes.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
you get you a stock trailer, or
yeah. I was able to get a stock trailer.
got
and,
that. So all you need is a horse, and
Yeah,
get
yeah.
you a little black rip hat and some
right.
sunglasses, and
That's right. We went. What was it called? Cowboy Camp.
oh yeah,
I'll holler at you next year. It's so much fun.
you had a good time.
Oh, it's awesome. They let people come out and work the cows.
Oh, that's cool.
People bring their horses, so they end up roping every calf.
That's fun.
How many? I think we ended up doing 90. Roped every one so people can experience it and learn how to do it. We bring them out, branded them.
That's cool.
Oh, it's old school out west. You brand them.
I'm gonna roll up in there looking like Urban Cowboy from the movie. That's what I'm gonna
Well,
do.
there was a guy there though, and he made custom hats.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
some of them on TikTok, social media, how they do that, and there's a guy on TikTok, and I cannot remember his name right now.
Is he
That
from
makes
Kentucky?
them. I think he is.
Down
I don't know if
by the
he's.
lakes. Man, I can't think.
I want to. I don't know for sure.
Farrell's. Yeah, I think Farrell's hat.
I don't think.
JT
I'm gonna have to.
Farrell.
I'll have to look him
She's-
up, but I think this guy may be like Oklahoma or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
But I'll have to look up the Farrell guy because that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
he's from
I may have to reach out to see if he want
Benton.
to come up.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
comes, and he comes all around.
But he brings his trailer.
Yeah.
And a little
Just sets
steamer
them-
and shapes them, and it's
That's
got all
pretty cool.
sorts of styles.
That's a heck of a talent right there.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because you gotta have that hat to fit right, or it's gonna look dumb.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can't just go get a hat and put it on. And
Yeah.
we grew up. I had horses. We had a crap ton of horses growing up. Up until I moved out, and then I was like, I don't want no more horses. I'm done with them. Every now and then I'll get an itch. I'm like, I want to ride a horse, and then I'll remember how much work it was, and
There was a guy up there, and you might be familiar with him. He's phenomenal on a horse, and he's from Crittenden County. He was up there helping.
okay.
He works some cows up at
So there.
Sale barn.
When we talk about
Sale barn.
horses, there's two buddies of mine that come to mind. That's close to my age. Is Chris Barnes and David Sexton. They're both.
Yeah.
They're true cowboys,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, they've always been. And there's the Wesleys and some of them over there. I don't know if they're still there or not, but the Fourniers used to be really big in cattle and horses but yeah, I mean, I grew up around them my whole entire life, and then just after I got old enough to roll, I was like, I don't want a horse. I don't, I had a little pony that we got from the Amish named Spunky, and that horse you can do anything with. Love that horse. Yeah. So yeah, so chief of police in Seabury, one man show. Elections coming, and the position that you're going to run for is. I was going to let you tell all that story. You're going to run for
jailer.
okay.
Yeah.
So what was you doing? Let's get that story. Let's why, when, and how. You know.
So I like helping people. And I knew we had an election coming up, possibility. The current jailer be retiring, and tossed around the idea. I think last year there was a bunch of us at the dairy bar and kind of was just talking about it. If the jailer retired, just talking about the position and talking about some other positions. And it just kind of stuck in my mind. Like, man, that's a position. If it does, if nobody's gonna run, it would be a good position to run for.
Right.
I think it just kind of, you can do more
Okay.
there. When I arrest people and take them to jail, I can only do so much.
Arrest them and
on
take
the
them to
way.
jail,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
you can only do so much, but on that short ride,
Right.
and a lot of times they might not want to talk to you, or they might be upset with you. You just arrested them.
Right.
But a lot of them, they might be at their lowest point, and I've had a bunch of heart to hearts on the way to jail, and I've invited a lot of them to church.
So you have a lot of heart to hearts on the way to jail. Have you had any of them that's actually turned around, turned their life around, and come back and say, "Hey, because of you, I've done this. This is what I'm doing now." It's kind of stuck with it, right?
Yeah,
Because we working on the ambulance and stuff and the medical area part of it, we always would call it incarcerationitis.
yeah,
We'll get called to the courthouse or something. Somebody's having a panic attack, heart attack, whatever, uh, and because they don't want to go to jail or
right,
they've never been in trouble
yeah,
and now they've got to go and serve three
yeah,
months or 30 days or something. But you deal with all kinds of people. But have you had someone or anybody that's been, and I hate to use the word long term criminal, but somebody that's just at their last and actually the conversation you had with them before you got to the jail kind of helped turn their life around?
yeah. I've had a few. Actually, had one reach out from Union County. It was when I was here. I arrested a girl on a DUI, and she reached out to me on Facebook and really thanked me, and how it could have saved her that night, and um, just was really thankful. And she's turned her life around and sobered up, and yeah, I've had I've had several. Some have not stayed straight and they've slipped, and that's all right. Um, but I feel like I planted a seed,
Right.
hopefully, and you know it just might not be their time. And I think it's a lot of it. Doesn't matter how much jail time you give somebody, or what the courts sentence them with, or no amount of rehab until that person hits that rock bottom, and only that person knows what their rock bottom is. And I kind of have similar conversations. I say, I know what my rock bottom is. My family. If I wasn't able to see my kids, or they were taken from me, that would be my rock bottom, and I would do a
Big
complete
180 and just kind of
180 and turn my life around. But some of those, I know this one guy. I It was fairly early, maybe a couple of years in. Let's see, he was started doing meth at 11 years old. I arrested him at 31. Still doing
wow.
meth. Um, had
At
six,
11 years old.
mm-hmm, 6, 7, 8 kids, and doesn't have anything to do with them. One of the kids was a phenomenal ball player. Um, but I mean, that would be mine. But so, and all you can do is just encourage. try to, you know, say the right thing if you're able to have a conversation with them, if they're not
Right.
too upset with you. And but you can only do so much on the ride to jail.
Right.
So, you know, so being in that jailer position, you're going to be with those people every day. Um, and that's when I was like, "Man, I think this would be a good time to run." We prayed about it, talked about it, you know, talked to other people that give that we know we would give good advice.
Right.
And
So you're not just jumping in this because, oh, there's a position I can,
right now,
I mean, you put a lot of thought into this.
yeah, and
As, I guess, the voters would hopefully
yeah,
want something like that, that,
yeah, yeah, it's not because I have to, or like I truly want to make a difference in the jail. Um, and I think, you know, I've had several people reach out. I think we could have a really good team going in,
Yeah.
and really turn the jail around and get to the root cause of why some of these people are in here, and why they continue to make the same mistakes. You know, I've got a lot of ideas. Talked to several people, um, and I don't know, it's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I could feel, I would be severely nervous, but,
Oh,
yet excited at the same time. Um, you know, politics is something that I don't like. Like
and I'm
it has
definitely not.
divided our country and families, and I've tried to stay away from it, and I'm trying to keep these interviews that I'm doing with candidates
Yeah,
a more, I don't want someone to come in here and be like, my counterpartner that I'm running against
yeah,
is this, and I just won't
yeah,
air it. Um, but with the jail situation now, and I don't know a lot of what's going on over there. What are some changes if you want to talk about them?
yeah.
But you may not want to give up
There's
any secrets because you don't
no,
want your.
and that's the thing too. If you look at all these people who run for, you know, sheriff, run for jailer, run for, you know, all these different positions, it's pretty consistent. I mean,
Mhm.
you're not reinventing the wheel.
Right.
A lot of counties need similar things. A lot of jails need similar things. A lot of, you know, it's just going to be similar. It's just how that candidate plans.
So let me ask you this: why do you think, other than financial stuff, like there's other issues in the jails and in politics, period. Why do you think? Because politicians will come in and make some hard promises, but stand really soft on them once they're in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Uh, you think there's a reason behind that? You think it's, we're going to make you these promises, and then once they're in, they're like, "Hi, I'm in," or you think it's deeper than that? Do you think it's, are their hands tied? Is there limitations? I'm sure there's like procedures and things that you have to go through.
Yeah, and that's one thing I don't want to do is make promises. Because one, I'll admit, I've never been jailer. I have no experience as having the position of a jailer, but I feel like I can bring a lot to the table having, you know, law enforcement experience. Especially, you know, being in Union County, a lot of people don't know. I just made a post last night, you know, Webster County houses Union County
Hmm.
inmates. And I feel, you know, I've made good working relationship with Union County.
Yeah.
I work well with, you know, all the jail staff
Hmm.
over there. They're great people.
So if you were elected, then it would almost be like a familiar
Yeah,
face when
oh,
they come. It
absolutely.
wouldn't have to be that transition of getting to
Mhm.
know somebody new.
Right, and I would definitely
And
want to
even
continue
speaking
that.
on behalf of the inmates
Hmm.
that end up there, I
Yeah,
mean, a lot of them you've dealt with prior
yeah,
over here and in Webster County,
yeah,
and know your personality and
hmm,
know that
yeah,
how you are. So that's comfortable. As I hate to say that, but it's comfortable to them.
yeah, yeah,
It, and especially having those conversations to the jail. and they're some of their darkest moments, you're that little spark,
Yeah.
and they're comfortable with that, and they know that. So,
Yeah.
that, I mean, to me, that would be a big reason that if I was able to vote in Webster County, that's why I would
Yeah.
vote. Now, I'll have to say honestly, I don't know your competition. I don't think I've even ever met them. I barely know what their names are, or what his name is. But what is something that you want to see changed? And if it's, let's do it this way. If it's something that you don't want to give out,
Yeah.
because other people, you know how it is. Like, you get an idea and somebody else runs with it. Because I don't want to, I don't want that to come, to come out as you throw this idea out and
Yeah.
somebody else runs with it or whatever.
And like I said, there's a lot going to be similar. I mean, safety, one thing. Um, the jailers working, they need to be safe. My uncle works for a company who trains and does defensive tactics.
Okay.
He actually came to Madisonville, put on a class.
Nice.
I wasn't able to commit to the full class for the week, but I did pop in a couple days. That's something I would like to work with and get everybody certified in some defensive tactics. And the inmates, they need to be safe. They I had a brain fart.
So you think, in when you say inmates need to be safe, which is, I mean, that's a big priority, right?
Yeah.
Because they need to be able to do their time,
Yeah.
however it comes about, and go back home to the family if they have a family. What are some things that you think needs to be adjusted as far as keeping them safe? Like, is it just the conditions of the jail, or
You
is
gotta make
it?
sure conditions are good. They're being treated fairly.
And I'm not saying that they're
Right.
bad now.
Right,
I'm
yeah,
just
oh, yeah,
saying just some
exactly.
things that
Yeah.
you may improve on. Or
Yeah, being treated fair, given respect, but that goes both
ways, right?
You know, inmates can't run a jail anywhere.
Yeah.
And I just want to go back to, you know, I want to figure out how to keep them from being repeat offenders, to get them, make them contributing members to society. I don't mind just sharing, find programs, whether it be, I know I've talked to a few people, you know, mechanic, like learn mechanical skills, learn a trade, um, whatever it may be, welding, where they can go out and there's places all over that
Right.
will give, doesn't matter if you're a felon, if you have a rap sheet or record, they'll hire you.
And it's changed a lot over the last several years. Used to just like, let's, big car manufacturing corporations like Toyota in Princeton, Indiana, the coal mines, for example. You used to have to know somebody to get on there. Well, nobody wants to work anymore, so they're willing to give anybody and everybody a chance, right? And it's the same way with those kind of trades. If you show up and you do what's asked of you, they're going to give you a chance, right?
Right.
And then if you blow that chance, then that's your own fault. Um, what are some reasons you think people become repeat offenders?
I've said this multiple times. If somebody wants help and wants rehab, I don't. If you're from this area, I don't think you need to do the rehab in this area.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I think you need to
Go somewhere else.
go somewhere else,
Yeah.
because, and I've said this. I said those so-called friends, they will step over your dead cold body to stay out of trouble.
They'll
They're
step
not-
over you, step on you, and step through you.
Yep. So I feel you need to just separate yourself. I'm a big believer in long term. No less than a year.
Yeah.
To really, but again, you could do 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. and until that person really wants it, and that
And
person
like
hits,
you said,
yeah,
you've got to get to that point where you're at your rock bottom.
yeah,
And some people, it seems like, never hit rock bottom.
yeah. And I don't, to be honest, I don't have the answer for that. I don't think
I've
anybody does.
I've known a few people and that have hit rock bottom and just continue to do what they do. And that they've never had that family structure, right?
Yeah.
They've never had that support. And when you show that love and that concern and that support to them, they think you're up to something.
Yeah.
They think you're out for a different reason or whatever, and it kind of feels like that turns them off from you, and they just continue to go about and continue to do the things. But so the election's in May, I think it
I believe
is
it's May 19th
May
is
19th.
the primary. And I'll tell you, a lot of people don't understand how primaries work. I learned a lot helping with the previous election, and primaries. A lot of people don't know that you can't vote outside of your party. A lot of people don't even know what party they're registered as. Had a lot of people show up to vote last election, and they didn't see anybody. That's because they weren't
In that party
in
of
that
who was
party.
running. So what you're saying is basically, if you're a Republican in the primary, you've got to vote Republican. You can't vote Democrat or independent or.
Yeah, and right now, it's me, my opponent. We're both going to be on the Republican ticket in May.
Okay.
Currently, you have till beginning of January, where you can register for the election. Currently, it's just me and him. We're going to be on the Republican ticket. And here's another thing: a lot of people don't know. They can check what they're registered as. Quick little link. I've already sent several out. Had several already change to the Republican. Make sure they're Republican so they can vote in this primary. So that's a big thing. I'm gonna start pushing that out. I really need to start pushing more about changing, because you can only do that. You only have till December.
Right, you only
31st.
got a certain time period, and then the actual elections in November.
Yep, the actual election is on November.
So in order for you to move on, you obviously have to win the May election.
Correct.
And then obviously, if nobody else runs against him in the Democratic Party, or runs against you guys in the Democratic Party, then if you win, you should basically a shoe-in or whatever, no contest win or whatever.
Yeah.
What other? I know magistrates are up here in Union County. There's a lot of magistrates running. We've got some new ones putting their name on the ballot. We've got some that's coming back. I'm going to interview a few of those. I've reached out to a couple of them. Sheriff election, I'm going to have Sheriff Braden come in here. I've reached out to our sheriff to see if he'd be interested in it. And it's not, if you don't want to come and do it, you don't have to do it. I don't want people to think that, oh my God, if I don't do it and they mention my name, then I'm going to look. No, it's not that at all. It's literally your choice to do it. But I really wanted you on and a couple others because you're brand new to it, right?
Yeah.
Most of them that I've asked have been in their position and they're running for re-election.
Yeah.
I really wanted to focus on people who's running for the first time, and kind of just get a feel for let the audience get a feel for who they are, because they can see you on your social media and they can see you, but rarely, unless you go to some private debate event or whatever, do people see you sitting down and conversating with somebody and talking about the issues that concern you and things that you want to make better and things that you want to change. Do you plan on, and I don't know if jailers have debates or not, or is there anything like that lined up? Because I'm not a big into politics. A lot of people probably think I am, but I'm not. I just want everybody to be happy and get along. Right.
And at the end of the day, especially when you have these small communities, we still need to be friends.
Yeah.
Nobody needs
the
to
first,
get hurt.
I can like somebody and want to vote for them, and the first time I see them throw mud at somebody else, I'm done with them.
Exactly.
Because there's no sense in it. There's no it's ignorant and it's childish. Just because you don't like the way they view something, you don't have to, degrade them and put them down and basically call them names, if you will,
And it's funny too on the local level of when you have the national, like for your presidential.
Right.
You're not going to see a Trump and a Biden sign in the same yard.
Right.
But
Right.
when you get on this local level, just people can't say
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You
Yeah.
can
Just
put a
put it up
sign.
there.
You can put a sign.
Yeah.
You might have 3 or 4 people running, and that's you can't tell anybody no.
Yeah.
And you'll run into
Well,
that.
and I'll be honest with
Hey,
you. Several years ago, it's been a few years ago. Somebody that I really thought a lot of was running for a position, but I just didn't feel like they would be a good fit for that position, and I didn't vote for them.
Yeah.
They probably don't now, but I didn't vote for them then, just because I was like, that's not where I feel like you need to be.
Yeah.
They're definitely in the position they need to be in now, but
Yeah.
do you think the election campaigning are you going to start going door to door, or how are you going to start doing that? Like, I guess when you pull somebody over, you're going to give them vote for me for jailer,
No. So you get a big list.
Yeah.
Just of everybody that's registered, what they're registered as, their address, their name. It breaks down to when they voted. So it's funny, you'll be talking to people like, yeah, I vote every year, but then you're looking like, oh, like they don't vote.
Right.
So you'll have that, but obviously you can't do it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're gonna have to have people helping, and when it comes to that point, you just can't knock on every door, but you break it up. Right now, leading up to the primary, focus on Republican that are voting because they're the only
Right.
ones right now, and then after that,
Focus on everybody.
everybody else, yeah, and too, I just don't think people realize how important it is voting on the local level. Last election, don't quote me, but I think they had 4 or 5 people in Crittenden County run on the sheriff,
Mm-hmm.
all on the same ticket. Like that's tough.
It is.
It's tough to do because it just breaks the votes up.
Well, and that's
so
I
much.
actually heard here in this county, in Union County, that somebody ran a few years ago, just to break the votes up.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it happens. People do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, if it would be hard to run against a friend, right?
Yeah.
No matter how much you sit down and talk and be like, hey, whatever happens, happens. It's tough, because both of you want the position pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, and who's running against me? I mean, we're friends. We both work. We're both police officers currently working in the same county. So yeah, it's tough, and I just I don't want there to be any ill will.
Right.
I want shake hands, congratulate each other, and still be friends after it. And I think that's how it should be. Everywhere. Like our magistrate races are getting heated up.
Are they?
Yeah, I know for sure one. It's
y'all hit me up. Let's.
there's going to be 4.
Oh wow.
On the Republican ticket, and the other one I don't know how the tickets are broke up, but there's 4.
Okay.
And and those are, they're going to be broke down. They're not going to get as many votes.
That's in one district.
Yeah, so we've got multiple districts. So
yeah.
Now their numbers really strong. So, just because I was involved in helping with the sheriff's race I think the primary between the current sheriff and the one that ran against him is 1,000 votes, and we have, granted, the whole county's 13,000,
Right.
but only 1,000 roughly Republicans voted in the primary.
Wow.
So it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, and I'm gonna try to push dates out and stress how important it is.
I mean, there's a lot of work on the back end. You don't just sign up and put a sign in your yard and say, "Hey, vote for me." I mean, I've noticed just looking through social media here locally. There's been comments that, oh, so and so's back at my door now. They want my vote. They haven't seen any or heard anything from them, and how do you think candidates running for any position can change that? Because I know their time is tied up, right? I've worked around a lot of them, and you can't go and hang out everywhere at all times, but you can be more seen. You can be more open, to I'll be here on these days. Put some dates out. You have, instead of calling and calling, leave a message and texting and never get anything in,
Yeah.
in return back. As a jailer, what do you think your most or your largest or your biggest obstacle is going to be with the community? Convincing them to vote for you and why they should vote for you.
Obstacle. I don't know. Some of the biggest obstacles and struggles they really don't know are an obstacle and a struggle. Does that make
Makes sense.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
You know, with everything, you're gonna fight pay. You're gonna fight benefits. You're gonna fight anything that requires money to be spent.
Right.
I think that's probably budgeting. The budget's gonna be the biggest struggle. Um, and trying to figure out, how to be a good steward with the county's money, with the taxpayers' money, make wise decisions, look for grants. I've been able to get a few, it's not as hard because it's just, me. Till recently, I did have a resource officer who had recently left. But for even just us two, we got grants through the state for vests. I got a grant for a vest for my dog. There was a door pop that was not cheap that the county has that I got free of charge. So there's a lot of grant opportunities I've already looked at and that can actually be used, in the jailer position too. Um, but there's going to be unexpected,
Things pop up
hiccups,
that
purchases that you'll have to figure out, that you'll have to overcome. But I think that's probably going to be the biggest obstacle. But I want to be involved in the community. I want the community to be involved. I've already had some organizations reach out that want to be involved in the jail, and I'm absolutely on board with.
I don't think you see that as much as you did. I remember, I grew up in the '90s, and I remember as a young kid and a teenager, the ministry and just going to the jails and that kind of stuff was really big back then.
Oh,
I'm sure it still happens, but I don't think it's as much as it used to be.
I'll tell you something. If given the opportunity, I'm looking forward to. They're having revivals in jails right now, and if you look at all these people that are radically like turning their life around, you know what the common denominator is they've found the Lord, and I think that's important. I think we need to have revivals. That's something I'm looking forward to. They're giving the whole people are lining up in the jails getting baptized. So I think we were talking earlier. How do you keep like God, the Lord? I guess that is what
Right.
it is. I've seen these people. I know one guy we got a pursuit with in Union County, covered. Head to toe, tattoos covered. And I missed church one day, and my wife messaged me and said, "You will not believe who's here." I said, "Who?" And text me. I was like, "Holy cow!"
I went to
Wow.
school with
Yeah, and I went to school with them. Like it's never, never saw it, but God. That's the only
Pretty
way to
amazing.
describe it. It is. Because it's wild.
Yeah,
So,
that's pretty cool.
our church, we have a lot of people who been through Teen Challenge,
Okay.
have been in those positions, um, and I really look forward to, like I said, giving the opportunity to get in there and spearhead a lot of the issues, and show that there is some hope. But
I think that's what it needs. I think I understand people go to jail and go to prisons because they've
Mhm.
committed a certain crime and what have you, and at the end of the day, they're still human,
oh
right?
yeah, yeah,
And it's hard sometimes to not feel like they deserve less.
Yeah.
It really is. And I'm guilty of that. I'll see something and, I'll make a statement that is the wrong statement. But at the end of the day, we're all humans. And,
Absolutely.
if I hadn't been given second chances in my life, I'd probably be one of those people. I mean, I was on track to be one of those people. And, I just woke up one day and was like, it's either this or it's this. And I don't want this.
Yeah.
So, you just got to make that decision and move on. What's one of your biggest fears as if you are elected as jailer?
I mean, failure. I mean, nobody wants to fail.
Right.
I mean, I want to succeed more than anything. I don't want to make a bunch of promises and not be able to keep them. But just failing, I guess. Because there's a lot of responsibility, and I understand that. You're going to be responsible for a huge budget. You're going to have several people under you. It's a huge responsibility, but
I mean, because as a jailer, you're responsible for not only your employees but also for those inmates.
Yep.
So it's just kind of one of those. I mean, it's a big responsibility to take on, and it shouldn't be taken lightly.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like either you or your competitor, your competition, if you will, is in that position. I feel like you both kind of want it for different reasons, or maybe the same reason at the end of the day. Like I said, I can't really comment on him because I don't know much about him at all. It's exciting, nerve-wracking, I can tell.
And I guess too, I don't understand. It's crazy. We're already at 4 years. Like, it's wild.
I know, it just seems like yesterday.
There's not enough time.
Yeah.
There's not that you have a list of things that you'd like to see changing. It's just, you got 4 years, but 4 years really is not enough.
4 years, it seems like you start something and you get something going, or you're halfway through it, and then let's say you get voted out. Well, that leaves the next person to pick up or just scratch what all that hard work that you put in and effort that you put into something.
I mean, just you look at the sheriff's office, all that they've accomplished in 4 years.
Yeah.
And I know he's still not done, and could use some more time. And it's just, you're constantly battling, pay.
Yeah.
Retention is a huge thing, and it's going to be a struggle at the jail. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's just trying to figure out how to overcome some of these same obstacles. Think outside the box some, and try to get as much done as you can in those 4 years.
At least gotta, try to get some big key points or key things done, and then start some others, and hopefully whoever follows you, if you're not reelected, will pick up and carry on with it.
Yeah, and just hope people can understand that Rome wasn't built overnight.
I think a lot of people who don't understand the basics of politics think that you get in and you change things immediately. I mean, and they don't realize that you're actually fixing things that was left undone, or fixing issues that was never taken care of when you come in. And it may take 4, 8, 10, 12, 14 years to get it, that mold, that model where you exactly want it to be. And I've seen it done. I've seen it done in 4 years, 8 years, with different counties. And you walk into, well, since we're running for jail, you walk into a jail and this new jailer wants to do X, Y, and Z, and he's in for 8 years, gets voted out. Well, he's got 2 projects completed. The next guy comes in and says, you know what, that's awesome. Let's continue it. And then there's another 8 years, and it's finally where they want it to be. And it took both of them, and that's kind of.
And that's nice if you have somebody that's coming in like that.
Yes.
But a lot of times they just.
Yeah.
There's so many,
I think the ego plays in a little bit.
Ego plays a lot. You do more pulling against each other than working together. Um, that would be nice if you could have somebody to follow in that could follow in and continue on, but it just seems like it didn't really happen like
Or
that.
just
Yeah, they want to.
hopefully your community likes what you do and you don't have to worry about it and you get voted in
There you
every
go.
every
Yeah,
election. That would
yeah,
be, I
absolutely.
guess, the key or the goal at the end of the day.
And another thing, I'd encourage people. Everybody deals with it, every county, but these fiscal court meetings, people don't have no idea how the county government works and what a fiscal court meeting is, and
Right.
like that is your, city town hall meetings
Yeah.
for the county.
We're the keyboard warriors. They
Yeah, yeah,
well, they're not doing this, and this. Well, go to these meetings. It's,
yeah.
they're held every month at a certain day, at a certain, the same time every time. Um, and voice your opinion. Find out what's going on. Sit at them. You'll learn a lot.
Hmm.
You'll learn a lot
Yeah,
about a lot of, about your magistrates, about your
yeah,
judge executive,
yeah,
about your sheriff, your jailer. Our
yeah,
jailer here, Jason Newton.
yeah,
Man, he's love him. He's funny.
yeah. Oh, he's
He's
awesome.
done a lot of great things. Even though we don't have an active jail
Right.
now, he's still just done some amazing
Yeah,
things.
but and what they're doing here works. I
Hmm.
mean, if it makes sense, I mean, you don't have to have a jail.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So is there anything you want to add? Anything that you think, Holly? Is there anything because you're going to have to deal with this on the back end of this election. What if you get elected? What if you don't get elected? What does that look like? How does that play out? Um, have you thought about
If
that,
I
or have
don't get
you?
elected, I don't know what the future holds. Um, but if I do get elected, um, I plan to be there at midnight when the clock strikes midnight. We did at the sheriff's office, and start going to work. I arrested somebody, I don't know, a few months back, and was in the jail, and it was early in the morning, and they just got a whole shipment of guys from like Eastern Kentucky, and I could see myself like I don't. It doesn't have to be a 7 to 3 or 8 to 4. I'd like to if that's
You're kind of like me when I start something and I do something, I'm all in.
yeah.
Like and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing sometimes because you could burn yourself out and you have to be very careful of
Mhm.
burning yourself out. But if you're passionate about something, I don't think that matters.
And I think it'd be a good morale booster
Mm.
if the jailer shows up at 2 o'clock in the morning to help the
Right.
guys out.
Yeah.
Obviously there's some stuff you got to do,
Yeah. Administrative side
administrative side
and
on days, but you know, I've here lately this past year, I've pretty much worked nights a majority of the time. I enjoy nights still. I'm still young enough to
right.
as
Kind
long
of
as
handle
as
it
long
and
as she's okay,
transition.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I see myself coming in at nights, helping out where they need help, and try to get fully staffed. Try to you know get morale up.
Do you think
And
some of the reasons they're not fully staffed is it benefits? Is it pay? Is it just the quality of people that come in apply for the jobs, or I mean, is it kind of all of that grouped together? Or?
I don't think there's just one set thing, but it's you know use the sheriff's office for an example. A smaller agency, and they're fighting against you know Hopkins County
Yeah,
SO. You've got Henderson SO. You've got Union County SO. It's just been doing phenomenal, and it's just hard. And when you've got these bigger agencies that are buying contracts out, like it's nothing, and you've got they're giving a sign-on bonus in Henderson, and you've got Hopkins County making unreal money.
right.
It's just, and some of these places might have this benefit, or this place might have that benefit. I was at a leadership conference last year, and they were talking about. I may have been the smallest department there, but there was people from all over the state, and there was. It's always retention, talking about retention, how they can help retain, and how they can do this, and There was an agency. I think they started their officers, deputies out at $80,000. They said, I will give the officer a vehicle and they can live anywhere in the state and come to work. They were giving 2 weeks sabbatical leave for mental health,
Wow.
to help draw officers, and they were still short. So I don't, for me, it's pretty easy. I've just made that decision. Like, I love my community. Um, don't see myself, besides, going to Union County, just going, across the state and being at another big agency or
Right.
something. Um, I don't know.
It's just that hometown
Yeah.
servant.
Yeah, and
I mean,
those people are running. They're not everybody wants that.
exactly. Yeah. And not everybody
So-
is running for the position for the right reasons,
Yeah.
Obviously you've got a servant's heart. I mean,
Yeah.
you've started in your county, you left, come back, and it always,
And I
you
tell
always come back.
And I tell you too, it tore me up leaving Union County.
Yeah.
I felt like I was letting the guys down and everything.
I mean, I think a lot of us were I don't want to say disappointed,
Yeah.
but of course we didn't know the backside of it, why
Yeah.
you were doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always going to be rumors,
Oh,
that,
yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
never heard any bad ones. I don't want you to think that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was like, man, I can't believe he's leaving,
Oh.
but you just and you create those relationships with people, and but what I like about, there may be that sports rivalry,
Mhm.
but I have assisted Webster County so much
Yeah.
working in Union County, is never a hesitation, that they would always call and say, hey,
Oh, yeah.
come help us out, and it's the same way here. Hey, come help us.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. I think, if you were to get elected, even the jailer now or whoever it is, our jailer Newton, if you needed something, man, hey, let's figure this out. Let's sit down and figure
He's
it
a good
out.
guy,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So if there's nothing else you want to add, or you got the dates, so that the election dates are
May 19th.
May 19th is the primary,
Yep.
and that's the election that you have to vote for the party you're registered for. So if for some reason they want to vote for you, you're running as a Republican, they need to change their.
Okay, I've got some dates here. Let's see.
Okay.
So December 31st is the last day you can change your political party.
So y'all better get on it.
Affiliation.
It's gonna.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. April 20th, 26th is the last day to register to vote for the primary election. So May 6th, 7th, 8th, 11th, 12th, 13th, excused in-person absentee voting ballot only. May 14th and 16th, in-person, no absentees allowed. So that's another thing too, absentee ballots,
Yeah.
this and that. But May 19th is the primary. So October 5th is the last day to register for the general election. Some more absentee stuff, and then November 3rd is the general election, and you can vote for who you want. Like, I was talking to somebody the other day who was an independent. Heck, he'll never be able to vote in the primary.
No,
It's wild. Yeah.
Rare that an independent
Yep.
makes it.
And I would encourage to look too, because I've already a handful have looked and they thought they were, and they were not.
Yeah.
Not registered Republican. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think one thing I just want to add is, don't vote for somebody just because you think they're your friend, or you know them. Vote for them because what they're running on is something that you value and you believe. Again, there's going to be a lot of, I called, hard promises with soft actions.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I try to look out for is who's promising the most,
Yeah.
because 9 times out of 10 that's not
Yeah.
always. And whether it's them just trying to get in, or they're making these promises that they don't realize they can't really keep because there's a process to get to those promises coming true, right? So if you're not well educated in that position you're applying for or running for, you probably don't need to be running for it, and that's my biggest takeaway from this is don't vote for somebody just because of who they are, vote for them because it's the values you believe in. It's the change that you want to see. Because nothing is never, ever, ever going to change if we don't change.
Yeah.
It's that simple, Definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. And that's kind of where we're leading to.
Yeah.
Not saying that long term magistrates, judge executives, jailers don't do phenomenal jobs, because we have some magistrates here in Union County that's been in for a long time and has done some really good jobs, and continue to do, get things done.
Absolutely.
But you also have some that's been in there and haven't really,
Right.
just bare minimum and won't answer their phone. And that's statewide. That's everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm not just picking on Union County. I've seen it all over the place. And as the election gets closer, you're going to see more of that. Advice that I'm going to give to everybody that I interview that wants to be interviewed is just do your best to be honest, truthful, and run on the values that you believe in as a person. And I think that'll kind of trickle along. And as long as you can stay out of that he said, she said, mud throwing thing, I think everything will end up the way it's supposed to end up.
Absolutely. Everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. I'm a big believer. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason, and it is what it is. That's my thing. So if we don't have anything else, we'll go ahead and close it out. Frenchie lives for kids. He does the little talks on his little hunting thing when he's walking, and I kind of steal his line. If you can do one thing, just be kind to each other. So we'll see you next time.